What's good? It's Jordan. Today I'll be talking to you about the normalcy of deceptiveness. See, in this modern society, what we have to understand is it is easy to be deceptive. It is easy to walk through this life being deceptive. Why? Because many people are lost. Many people are easily controlled by other people. Many of people do not understand themselves. They do not understand the importance of loving themselves, and they do not understand the importance of building a relationship with themselves. See, when you don't love yourself and you don't have the understanding, wisdom, or knowledge, you tend to lean on others for help. And when you tend to lean on others for help, you can be controlled, manipulated, and used. We have to understand that in this life, there are going to be people who will help us, who will actually help us on this path and help us on this journey. But we have to understand that many times in society, people have been given over to deceptiveness because they feel as though that they have power being deceptive. They feel as though they gain control being deceptive. So when people see that, they tend to lean more towards the side where they can gain control and have power over their own lives and over other people's lives. See, what we have to understand is in this life, people will put themselves first. People will put themselves in the position to dominate over you. When you understand this, you move accordingly. When you don't understand this, you may make mistakes. You may, trust people more than you trust yourself. You may put your faith in people more than you put your faith in yourself. And these things have issues with that. And we have to understand that in this life, some things you have to deal with on your own. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. And sometimes you may not understand. But if you understand that through experience brings strength, then at the end of the day, you can navigate this world and this life easier. You see, in this life, time and time again, we have put our faith in people who may not have our best interests at heart. And when you put your faith in people who do not have your best interests at heart, they can take control of your life. They can manipulate you. They can make you do things that aren't necessarily right. We have to understand in this life, you have to be in control of your own life in terms of understanding what your life is about, what's your purpose, your plan, and your mission, and your importance in this life. Many people in this life walk without importance in their own life. And, it's okay at the beginning to not understand your importance in this life. Many times people try to make it seem as a bad thing if you don't understand your importance in this life. But in reality, everybody starts somewhere. Everyone has a basis point where they start, and then they move on, they move forward, and then they understand the importance of their life in this life today. So it's never a bad thing if you do not understand at this given point. But if you continue to walk this path, not understanding, not learning, not making the change, not being around like-minded individuals who want to see you rise and grow, then you continue to live in a stagnated mind frame where at the end of the day, that leads to destruction. Many people have been destroyed in this life due to the fact of the matter of not understanding themselves and leaning on people for support, leaning on people for help, leaning on people for just about any and everything. And when you continuously lean on somebody else for all these things, you necessarily cannot be your own individual, and at the end of the day, if you have to constantly lean on somebody else, you're easily controlled because you do not know that person. You do not know that person's intentions. And rarely will you see in this life that people actually want you to do well. People actually want you to actually rise. So most of the times, people will try to control you. That is human nature. And if you understand it early, you're able to navigate this society and this life differently. If you do not understand it, you may have to go through some situations in this life that may change your mind frame and your mindset towards dealing with people, and this is not necessarily to say that it's bad being around people. You can be around people and have social groups and social settings, but understand that everybody does not have the same mind frame. Some people work based on hierarchy, other people work on base social connections, And at the end of the day, you just have to understand where everybody's mind is at, because everybody does not walk this life in this path the same way you may. When you understand that, then you understand that deceptiveness can be there and instilled in a person. But at the end of the day, it's based on who you're dealing with, and you have to understand the person that you're dealing with. People who really care for you will tell you the truth. They will help you in a way where you understand that they want your best interest at heart. But then there's other people who are conniving, and they will do anything to get ahead of you just so they can literally destroy you and just so they can triumph over you. When we understand that, we coordinate ourselves based upon the people that we may deal with. We have to understand as well, with having social groups and social settings, that not everybody is on the same program. You may want to congregate with people based on having the same shared interests, and people may just want to congregate with you just so you can be a role player on their team, not be a leader. And I say in my own life, when I deal with people, depending on who I'm dealing with, you have to filter out who you're dealing with, and that's where discernment comes into play. When you have discernment, you know who you're dealing with. You understand who you're dealing with, and you understand how to deal with people based upon who you're dealing with. If you're not around the right people, you have to remove yourself from that. And I tend to remove myself from the wrong people, the people who do not want to see me rise or grow, people who do not care or have my best interests at heart. It's best that you do these things early, because if you try to cling on to people who really don't care about you or care about your interests or even want to see the best for you, then you oftentimes could get destroyed in that as well. And it's also about understanding how to conduct yourself with people. For me, when I'm dealing with people, I don't deal with someone based upon the aspect of hierarchy, treating somebody lesser than because they may be perceived as lesser than me. I treat everybody the same. And when I see that in this life, that treating everybody the same actually has benefits, because there's no biasness involved and there's no things that can stop you from actually learning from somebody else, that's the best way to do it. And at the end of the day, we have to understand that in this life, everybody should be treated equally, and we should understand that. Every time in this life we fail to realize that and understand that, because we want to do things by the world, and by doing things by the world, you don't necessarily do the right thing. And it's best that we understand that in this life today, we're going to have many various situations. And when you deal with people, understand that you have to deal with somebody from a perspective where they can be a leader, not necessarily trying to stop them from being a leader. But, everyone in this life has different roles, and some people want to be leaders and others are not able to be leaders, and then other people want to be followers. But for the most part, I speak to somebody in a way where I know that when they receive the information, they can be a leader in their own personal life. And that's how I look at it. I want people to actually take control of their own life and understand that the importance of taking control of your own life, being under the Most High, following the Most High, is important. Because at the end of the day, if you don't take control of your life, and you don't take control of your actions, and you don't take control of your reactions, then somebody else will. And in society, many people are taken control of. Many people are programmed, and many people cannot understand how to break the programming. So it's best that we understand how to break the programming today, and how we move on breaking the program. Because if we don't break the programming, these things last generations upon generations upon generations, and it cannot continue that way. So today I'll be leaving you with this scripture, and I hope that this scripture can help you in your own personal life today on a daily basis. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, Do not believe every spirit, but test the spirit to see whether they come from God, for many false prophets have gone out into the world. Pay attention to the information that is being placed to you. Pay attention to who is speaking the information that is being presented to you, because many times in this life people are confused and deceived, and sometimes people are trying to look for the right information and the right people to follow in order to build themselves to be positive leaders. But many times people have become deceptive for the main reason of wanting to gain resources. And in this life today, we have to understand how to break the chains of deceptiveness. We have to understand how to be strong, because the Most High allows us to be strong in this life today. I want to thank you for watching. Peace.